It's the Shatkin First Down pregame show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo News Bills beat reporter Jay Skursky. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. I'm Rich Gaenzler, all adorned in my ugly Bills Christmas sweater, appropriately. There will be a lot of special guests on the show today. We're going to break down the Dolphin game. We're going to talk about the Bears game, a Bills special guest, and as part of the Mafia in the Roundtable, a very special guest as well that you all are looking forward to see, especially this weekend. So stay for that. But before we do that, an entire new cast you're going to see on this episode. We're going to get that started as we go around the water cooler. All right, here we are opening the show with Dr. Sam Shatkin. We've normally have Dr. Jared, and we've had Todd on, and here's Dr. Sam filling the role.
Shatkin Sports Network.
Heck yeah. Former All-American, right, at the University of Rochester, running back.
I was prep All-American at Rochester, played fullback there.
Nice.
Had a good experience there.
So did you run the ball a lot? Were you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My junior year, 1,200 yards, something like that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Single wing? Wait, what kind of offense were you running?
No, we played I formation or T formations, you know. We just.
I know, it was a long time ago, leather helmets.
Well, yeah, no, right after leather helmets.
Right on. Well, being a Rochester native, I spent a lot of time at the U of R, so awesome and happy that we're both in Buffalo. We can connect like this. So let's get into the game here and talk about, obviously, the Dolphin game. Yeah. The weather was an issue until the end of the game, and it was pretty bizarre how it was almost like somebody, whoever that person is, Mother Nature, whoever it is, turned on that snow machine at the right time, right?
Well, I think the fans did that, but it was tremendous. You know, I was really excited about seeing a little bit of weather because there's such a hype about it. But as it turns out, the ending was, you know, exactly what we could write up, and that's what happened.
What do you think about the snowball thing? Like I was going, I had to thread with my brothers, and I have some out-of-town brothers that are fans of other teams that were talking about it, and they said, "Oh, the Bills fans are terrible, and they're like the Eagles fans." And I had to say, "Look, they're having some fun." I was not big on it personally. Until somebody might have gotten hurt. Even one of the Bills players could have gotten hurt.
The snowball thing, it didn't look good on national television. I mean, we were prime TV. But what they did do is they weren't throwing the balls because they were upset. They were throwing snowballs because they were celebrating.
That's right.
A little bit different than if somebody's throwing it at a ref or doing something like that.
Right.
And thank God nobody got hurt. So all's okay.
That's right. So more about, we haven't really talked about the game, but a couple of things. First of all, Trey White back in the game and significant role in that game and played well.
I like what he's doing. I mean, you know, when they first started him back a couple games ago, he was just a little tentative, but he's really getting back. I mean, he was playing tight on the receivers. The only thing I would do is he's got to bump and run them at the beginning, especially a guy like Tyreek. You know, give a guy like that a full jolt right off the line. He's going to have a hard time keeping up with him. But other than that, I think Trey is doing great.
For sure. He's almost back to where he was. And, you know, I know we talked a little bit before our shoot about what Brandon Beane has done. Obviously, Trey is one of his first guys out of the gate. But since then, my gosh, the team that he's built is pretty remarkable.
Well, I think top to bottom, you know, I mean, every part of the administration, I think, is doing their job to get this team together. And I mentioned to you before that I think we've got a premier free agent city. I mean, people want to come to Buffalo Bills. You know, we got a few good guys and some people coming back like Shaq Lawson. So I think we've really set ourselves up for some great future. But I know this year is a big year for us.
Well, it also helps that you have one of the two best quarterbacks in the league, arguably, between Josh and Mahomes. That helps a lot, and that the fact that we've been winning helps. But you're right, to get Von Miller here, to get to have Diggs come here.
Yeah.
I mean, these are two real high-profile guys to come to Buffalo when, for the longest time, it was impossible to get guys like that to come here. You bring up a great point. So let's talk a little bit more about and stay on the defensive side of the ball. You mentioned Trey. The other tough part about that game was the run D. Mostert had a field day against him.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, because when they played against the Jets, they made every tackle they had to make. They didn't miss a tackle. Fundamentals, you know, get back to fundamentals, and that's what McDermott says all the time. I think they really need to make those wrap-ups and get those tackles done, because I think that really hurt us a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And how about the drives, though? Really impressive throughout the game. Double-digit play drives, 70-plus yard drives. I think they had 5 or 6 of them in the game. And The one at the end of the game, obviously huge when Singletary goes down on purpose. You can kick the field goal and win the game and run the clock out. But the play at the end of the half, we were talking a little bit about this too with James Cook and sort of what you were screaming at the TV when you were watching it about what to do and what needs to happen.
I said, 8, 7, 6. What are you doing out there? Come on, do something with the ball, throw it away. Or, well, we all would have been upset if he did make that touchdown, but he did make the touchdown, so we got to, give him full credit for that. But that was the one thing. I mean, field goal is a field goal. But I will say this: if we can exchange field goals for touchdowns any time of the day, we're winning.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. That's what we did that weekend.
We were very fortunate. The Cam Lewis play on the punt,
right.
That could have been tragic for the team, but they find ways to win, and that's what the good teams do, right? Great job in your debut. I will see you at the end of the show.
Okay.
We'll talk about the Bills and the Bears, all right? Coming up next, very special Bills guest as we continue with the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
I am so happy with my experience that I had at I Smile Spas today. Got my teeth professionally whitened. I have months of results in less than an hour. No pain, seriously not even a sting. They're not sensitive. You leave with a kit to continue your whitening. Absolutely incredible. I'm so happy I ever did this. I can't stop smiling.
Western New York. Smile again with confidence. Call 43-SMILE today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
If there's one thing I love more than Western New York, it's the people of Western New York. So all my friends from Buffalo, Amherst, and Tonawanda, Williamsville, Cheektowaga, and Orchard Park, where would you love to have dinner tonight?
Russell's, of course! Russell's, of course!
One more time.
Russell's, of course!
Thank you for being my guest and letting us do the rest.
All right, welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler with a great friend of mine from the Buffalo News, Jay Skursky, joins us. Jay, great to see you, man. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Rich. Happy holidays to you, too. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's talk some Bills. You've covered them a long time, obviously. You've been around the bad. Now you've been around the really good. And I'll wrap up our Q&A with how good is this particular playoff team. But let's get back to the Miami game first. Man, I'll tell you what, Josh picked a great game to be great.
He certainly did, and they needed all 4 of those touchdowns and all 77 of those rushing yards, all 304 of those passing yards. You hate to see come out of a game feeling like it's a one-man show, but it was hard not to after that game. I mean, he looked like, and I wrote it in the paper the next day, he looked like the best player on the planet that night. And we had seen performances like that from him early in this season. Sort of got away from that maybe a little in the middle of the season. You wonder how much the elbow injury impacted that, but when they needed him most, and Saturday night was certainly a case of needing him most, boy, did he deliver. And he just likes playing against the Dolphins. I mean, 10 career appearances now, 8-2. Both of the losses have been sort of right there at the end, and just the numbers are sort of dizzying. But yeah, when the Dolphins are the opponent, it just seems to bring out the best in Josh Allen.
Let's swing it back to the Bills now. And I mentioned the offensive line, and they have issues, obviously. Mitch Morse with the 6th concussion. Bates is banged up. And then injuries aside, and we'll talk about the injuries in particular because Butker's coming back now, whether he plays or not, and I'll get your opinion and your know-how and your gut on whether or not that happens and who is that front 5. But penalties, as you mentioned, have been a problem. It was 2 games ago, it was Dawkins. This past game, it was Saffold. They have got to clean that up. And then again, to my previous point, what do you think the offensive line is going to look like on Saturday?
Well, it's tough to know right now with Mitch Morse being in concussion protocol. We don't get a lot of updates on his status. I would say that I believe the plan will be if he can't play and Ryan Bates can make it back in. It was a good sign that he was limited at Tuesday's practice. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. I think that Ryan Bates would be your starting center. Then the question becomes, and you mentioned it there, They activate Ike Bucker. It's been a calendar year, basically. December 26th of last year, he got hurt. This game going to be played on Christmas Eve. So we're almost talking one full calendar year since he's been on the field. I think it's a lot to ask to expect him to step in and play anywhere from 50 to 75 snaps, whatever the game calls for. But can they rotate him in, maybe with Greg Van Roten, who we saw start at guard in place of Bates and then move over to center after Morris was hurt. So I think they are going to have some moving pieces here up front. The good thing is that, you know, they do have some continuity at tackle with Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown. We know those two guys are going to be out there. Saffold is an issue, right? He has taken a lot of penalties. I don't know that his play really the entirety of this season has been what they really hoped that they would get. And, you know, when you sign, I believe he was 34 at the start of the season, may have turned 35 now. So there's a bit of a risk there, right? When you bring in a guy like that. But yeah, if you're talking about the line play as a whole, I think it's been an issue for this team. And I think if Morris is to miss any significant amount of time, and let's be honest, right, his health right now has to be the number one priority, given his lengthy concussion history. You have to make sure that he is, 100% obviously and comfortable going back on the field. But without him, you know, he has been the glue, and Josh Allen referred to him as sort of the heartbeat of that offensive line. It could be a big issue both against the Bears and the rest of the season.
What do you make so far of Trey and his return?
Yeah, so, you know, the analytics would tell you, if you go by that he was thrown at 9 times against Miami, he allowed 3 catches, but they were pretty big, 67 yards, and one of them was a touchdown, right? So, and you know, we heard from Tre'Davious White after the game. He has been very media shy since he's been back, only talked a couple of times. Each time, though, he has talked about how it has been a long road back for him, and he's not where he wants to be, quite frankly. Those are his words, not mine. So, you know, the good news is that he is, from a physical standpoint, able to handle more and more. It's now 2 straight games where he's played 100% of the defensive snaps. Is he back to the all-pro Tre'Davious White that we have known before the knee injury? I would say no, and he would also tell you no. So you want him ready for whenever that first playoff game, be it the wild card round or the divisional round, depending on where this season goes. That's when you want him to be as close to 100% as possible. He's still got 3 weeks to get there. You don't want to overlook anything, but obviously that game in Cincinnati here on Monday Night Football in a couple of weeks looms very large in this playoff race.
Could you imagine the game ended up at some point being Josh Allen against Nathan Peterman?
It's one play away from Nathan Peterman, and what a storyline that would be, right? Nathan Peterman against Sean McDermott, the guy who named him a starter in 2018 in the Buffalo Bills. I think a lot of Bills fans would sign up to see a Nathan Peterman appearance, and obviously they'd be rooting for a redo of the 5 interception half that we all were able to witness out in Los Angeles.
Happy holidays to all you guys. Thanks for doing this, and obviously read everything that Jay Skursky does in the Buffalo News on his coverage of the Bills, and get to Chicago safe. If you get
we'll
there.
See. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Rich.
All right, man. Thank you. There's Jay Skursky from the Buffalo News. The Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show continues with more right after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Tambor. For me especially, during this past year, I find myself thankful for the health, both physical and mental, of my family and friends. My fondest memory would be just playing music around the holiday time, eating good food, being around people you love. I mean, that's nothing better than that for me, I'd have to say. For me, it really just, being healthy and able to feel good and hopefully help other people do the same. That's what I'm most thankful for.
From the Aesthetic Associates Center, we wish you a happy and healthy holiday season.
Family is the most important to us above everything else. 34 Group is a general construction company.
We had a part in rebuilding the community. We choose Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield of Western New York because they are reliable.
It's just great coverage, and we have a great relationship with the folks at Highmark. We want our legacy to just be that we were good people that loved our community.
It is definitely a love affair, I can tell you that right now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, and happy holidays from all of us at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
All right, well, that was one special guest. Another special guest coming up here in mere moments as part of our roundtable on the Mafia. But before we do that, we got to go in the pocket. Let's talk a little bit about a guy that became one of 3 quarterbacks all time to rush for 1,000 yards in one season. Let's talk about Justin Fields. Clearly, and we'll talk about it in the final segment, doesn't throw the ball. Nobody's got more than 40 catches on the team. That's running backs or wide receivers. He's pretty much just a running threat. He's not at the Lamar level yet, but he's still dangerous, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think they're 32nd out of 32 teams in passing, but I mean, part of that is he doesn't have the greatest line in front of him, and he's still a young guy, but definitely a threat on the ground.
What are they going to be seeing? Because they know that he's not going to throw a lot because he just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of his rushing yards even come off of pass plays where he just scrambles. So
right.
I think you got to play him similar to Lamar and rush the gaps instead of getting upfield, and maybe play him kind of similar to how we did against the Chiefs when put Milano as a spy.
Yep.
And as soon as he breaks a pocket, he'll just kind of go and try and get him. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure they'll have a great game plan going in, and we'll be cruising.
Yeah, well, they got to stop the run. They haven't been able to do that, and David Montgomery is a pretty good runner, but obviously the quarterback is able to do both things. He's got a good arm. He's got decent people.
No, he's got a lot of potential, but from what I've seen, the O-line really struggles a little bit, so they're going to need to shore that up in the offseason.
All right, so Epinesa, get after him, and, Russo and Boogie Basham, all those guys, get after him. Shaq Lawson, have another big one, Shaq. All right, man, thanks. Let's get to the Mafia segment next. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show, joined by an interesting cast, to say the least. Sam's back. We just saw him in the pocket next to the big guy over here. Welcome, Santa.
Thank you.
Everything okay?
Everything's great. I got a lot of thoughts and ideas.
Okay, good. And we're going to ask you about some Bill's thoughts and ideas, too. Dr. Sam Shatkin is here. So, look. Doctors do the rounds, right?
Right.
So now we've done the Shatkin rounds. So it's usually Jared, and Todd did it once, and now it's you.
The whole Shatkin team.
Yes, so glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
And then Sandy's here, too. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Love the Choose Love shirt.
Yep.
You're representing.
That's right.
All right, so look, I love you guys, but, Santa's here, man. It's Santa! I know him. So, Santa, let me ask you very quickly. You got a tough weather weekend this weekend. Buffalo, Western New York is tough. Chicago's tough. They got some really bad weather. You're probably looking at all the forecasters locally, but you also probably have a way to get around without worrying about it. And you got Rudolph out front, right?
Rudolph's fabulous.
And you're a Bills fan, from what I understand.
I am. I mean, all these other teams, the San Diego Chargers, the Miami Dolphins. That's all warm weather. That's not how football was meant to be played, Rich.
Well, Santa just had a little bit of a senior moment because it's the Los Angeles Chargers, Santa, but that's okay.
We don't get cable up at the North Pole.
Are you going to tell me if I've been bad or good, or is that not?
Rich, you've been very good this year. You've been very good.
Yes. Thank you, Santa. I think I'll find out.
You're going to get a little something extra in your stocking after today's episode.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you, Santa. That's why I'm being so wonderfully kind and flexible with you on the Mafia set here. What's your favorite Christmas song, Santa? You got one?
Oh, Jingle Bells.
Of course. You have them with you. There they are.
Oh, I just play it every day. It's on my Spotify.
What about a favorite Christmas song for you, Sam? You got one?
Baby It's Cold Outside, maybe.
Okay, I like
It
that.
was a good song this last weekend.
There you go. There you go.
I like Dreidel, Dreidel, Dreidel. I'm going to go for the Hanukkah song.
That's fine.
I love that song.
That's right.
That's a great song.
Happy Hanukkah, obviously.
Thank you.
And Sandy, how about you? Favorite Christmas song?
I kind of am a fan of the Little Drummer Boy.
Little Drummer Boy. All right, so before we get to me and Dr. Sam talking about the Bills and the Bears in particular, we got to get your score predictions. I want to go last with you, Santa, but you're going first, Santa. What do you think? Bills, Bears, what's the score going to be?
Oh, like most of the teams, we were talking a little bit about this before. I think the Bills won't take them seriously. I say it's going to be 27-21 Buffalo pulling it out.
Okay, a late win. Well, that's kind of been the norm for the Bills. The Bills haven't really blown out anybody in a long time. What do you think?
I'm going to go 31-17.
31-17. Okay, Dr. Sandy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We'll go Sandy, ladies before gentlemen,
All right.
on that
well,
side.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am rooting for the Bills 35-10.
Okay.
Oh,
finally, we get a big blowout win.
Yeah.
Good.
I was going to say 34-10, and I think it's going to be no more nail biters for this game. We're going to win it clean, get it done.
Like we should.
Yeah.
All three fastest complimentary football, right? What we always say. So let's move on and get some Tino's Dough going with the 2-minute drill. So it's time to do trivia. With this, it's Tino's Dough, Sorrentino's on Main Street. We have gift certificates. If you get the 3 questions, guys, right, you play as a team. They always have to do with the team that the Bills are playing. So it's Bills, Bears, somehow related, okay?
The Bears!
The Bears.
Question number 1. This player had more yards by himself than the entire Bills team when the Bears played the Bills in 1979. I'll give you a hint. He was a running back, and he's a Hall of Famer. Anybody know?
Walter Payton.
Of course. Walter Payton, yes. Had 155 yards rushing in that game in 1979. The Bills had a grand total of 106 as a team. Stink, stank, stunk, to use lyrics from The Grinch. There's number 1. Number 2, this former Bill fan favorite played his first 4 NFL games as a Bear before getting traded to the Patriots. He later would come to the Bills. Quarterback, he had a breakfast cereal named for him. Anyone?
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie, that's right. You're 2 for 2, guys. Finally, this head coach coached both the Bears and the Bills, and coached against those teams when he was the coach. In other words, when he was the Bills coach, he coached against the Bears. When he was the Bears coach, he plays against the Bills. And guess what? He never beat the other team when he coached them. Which coach was it?
That's why he kept moving.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam, you're a quarterback. You gotta know the answer.
In a year span we can get
06 to 09 was the Bills head coach, and prior to that, I think it was in the late 90s, he was the Bears head coach. Played in the league as a defensive back, coached for both teams, the Bears and the Bills. Dick Duran, there you go. All right, we'll give it to you. 3 for 3. You'll all win Tino's dough, and that'll help you as you know. Okay? Cookies are overrated, right, Santa? When it comes to
Tino's pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There you go. Santa, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me, inviting me down. It's amazing you found me in the North Pole, but you're very resourceful, Rich. You get an extra gift in your stocking.
That's 2. I'm counting. Trust me. All right. That'll do it. We're coming back with Dr. Sam. We're going to go through the Bills and the Bears coming up next on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin, the clinical director here at the new Shatkin Dental Health Postgraduate Dental Residency Program. For years, I've felt there's been a need to help those patients who just can't afford quality care but want to be treated in a private dental office setting. Shatkin Dental Health will save you 20 to 30% on the procedures you need without compromising the care you deserve.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile and receive a dental cleaning and x-rays for only $43. And as always, consultations are free.
Your kitchen is the heart of your home, so make it what you've always wanted.
Empire Granite Marble Quartz has everything you need to start your kitchen countertop makeover, all within your budget. Offering 24 months, 0% financing for a limited time. Empire has the largest indoor full slab showroom in Western New York, so visit the showroom today.
Make your dreams a reality with luxury you can afford.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gonzalez. One of my fondest memories is probably one Christmas. All of my aunts, uncles, cousins all came to Florida and we had a huge Christmas, and it's probably my favorite Christmas ever. I'm thankful for my health, family, friends, co-workers, and of course my wonderful patients. Wishing you all love, happiness, and much health this holiday season.
From the Aesthetic Associates Center, we wish you a happy and healthy holiday season.
All right, final segment. Again, happy holidays and thanks for watching. The weather is certainly frightful outside, and the same in Chicago.
It's going to be a bad weekend for them.
Yeah, as we get ready for this Christmas Eve tilt between the Bears and the Bills, and the question mark is this game going to happen on time or not, with travel plans and the team getting in or not? Well, we'll get there. And obviously, I don't think there's a weather advantage to anybody in this game. These guys, Chicago, they have the same weather we do on the Great Lakes, so I think you can throw the weather out of it. But it's going to be brutally cold. I think the wind chill is going to be below 0, around 14, right there on Lake Michigan on the bank. So it's going to be very interesting and potentially blizzard conditions for the game. So we'll see how that plays out. And everybody always says, well, you have to have a run game to play in these conditions. We'll see. We'll find out.
Josh Allen. He's got a strong arm.
Exactly. And he's got a run game of his own, right?
Yeah.
How about this? We talked a little bit about this between, breaks here during the show as we're doing it, about how the Bears have kind of stuck. They're not winning games, but they're putting the fear into teams that they shouldn't typically.
Yeah, well, I think some teams may take them lightly, like Philadelphia last weekend. I mean, if you don't come out with the NFL on any given Sunday, as they say, you really got to be ready to play. And I think Buffalo is. I think they showed themselves last weekend that they can't, take their foot off the throttle. And if they do that, they might get caught. And we came through with that win, but it was not an easy one.
Yeah, and it wasn't an easy one. I mean, the Bills had that segment in the second half where I think they had 5 possessions in a row, Josh's fumble and the 4 punch, and you're like, uh-oh. But then, again, like we said earlier in the show, they found a way to win. So here we go with the Bears. And I maintain, okay, they've stuck around with teams, but they stink. They just flat out stink. Fields is fantastic and at some point could be great, but he doesn't have many weapons at all to choose from, right?
Right. Well, they've had 7 straight losses, and a win, a loss is a loss. I mean, it's the same thing. They're not going to come through this weekend. That's why my prediction was that the Bills are going to win soundly. But I think it's going to be a good game. It always is. NFC games are always something we want to look forward to and play tough with.
And Montgomery's a nice running back, and look, I mean. The Bills' run defense we've talked about a lot this year, unfortunately, in a negative way, where they just haven't been able to stop backs. And in a game like this, when the inclement weather is part of it, the run game could come into play, and you want that Bills defense to lock it down in terms of the run game, because Montgomery, like I said, is a really good back.
Well, he's got 695 yards this season, but Josh Allen has over 700 yards. So, he is a great running back, and I think we have to be aware of him, and we need to wrap up those tackles, like I said earlier. But, we'll just see what happens this weekend.
I think it's 8 in the box all day for the Bills defense because, look, they have nobody with 500 yards receiving on this team. They just don't throw the football. So you have to anticipate that Leslie Frazier, former Bear, by the way, you have to anticipate that he's going to, run, and just stop Justin Fields and Montgomery all day and make Fields have to throw with, let's face it, a not very talented receiving core.
Yeah, well, if we're 8 in the box, we're definitely going to be man-to-man on defense in the secondary. So let them throw. Let's see what we can do. We got some great defensive backs back there, and I think this week they're ready to make some tackles.
Yeah, I agree. Very average, around 20th offensive and defense for the Bears. I like the Bills to win this game handily as well. I'm going to go Bills 27-9 in this game, and with the win the division.
Yeah, definitely win that. You've got to clinch that division again, and it's going to be awesome. And then we're streaming right into the playoffs.
Exactly. And again, to your point, if they needed incentive, it's win the division, get that taken care of.
Yeah, but it's more than that, though, Rich, because it's not just we want home field advantage, all right? And we cannot lose to Chicago. And so I think they're going to come out strong. They're not going to take their foot off the throttle. They're going to just keep going hard. And I think McDermott's going to get them ready. I love McDermott. Now he's 5 out of 6 years he's been in the playoffs with Buffalo. So I don't think he can do better than that. I think he's going to get them ready.
All right. Well, you like a big win. I like a big win. Hopefully you that have been watching look for a big win.
My nails are getting pretty short here. No more nail butters.
Got to thank some people along the way. Of course, Shatkin Dental, I Smile, Aesthetics Associates, Dr. Todd Shatkin, Russell's as well, and of course Santa for making a special trip to be on the show with us today. Hey, go Bills. Happy holidays for everyone. Make it as joyous as you possibly can. And from all the crew here at the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show, happy holidays. Thanks for watching. Go Bills. We'll see you next week.
If you would like to be a participant in the Shatkin First Down Huddle, email Mark Aarons at maarons@shatkinfirst.com. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.